Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our place in Sicily. And I have been teasing this for a little bit, that we are working with a designer and that I couldn't wait to tell you about her. And I can finally tell you about her. Very excited to introduce Jennifer Bertrand. And Jennifer and I have known each other for, is it 15 years since?
Long time.
A long time. We just like come in and out of each other's lives, basically keep up by just liking things on social media. You worked with me once in a previous life. I used to be an editor, and Jen helped with an article for our Studios magazine. And we're working on this Palazzo, and I'm so stressed out. And I was like, I need help. How do I do this? How do I afford it? What are we doing? We don't know what anything we're doing. So we're working this as we go. And then I reached out to Jen when we were getting close enough to the part where she could help with, like, she can't help with us finding a place because we couldn't even find a place. But anyways, everybody, this is Jennifer Bertrand, our designer, interior designer, who'll be helping us along with Igor Grapaldi, who's doing our architecture. And Jen, I'm going to tell a couple things about you, and then I would really like you to tell everybody the things you're working on now. Cool. And feel free to like correct me if I say stuff wrong. Jennifer Bertrand is the world's greatest interior designer anyone has ever known. Notice she didn't correct me. But no, so I found out about Jen, or I didn't really meet. I can't say meet. Meet is the wrong thing, but I first discovered Jen on HGTV's Design Star. I cheered Jen on for the entire season. And so that's how I discovered her. And then I followed her, and then we chatted, and she wrote for me, and she's doing so much. She's got a lovely family in Missouri. So she just
Which doesn't sound very cool, but it's Kansas City.
Taylor it's Kansas City. It's Kansas City. It's Kansas City. No, it's very cool. And she's colorful in personality, and sort of like I feel like the love that emanates from the projects she's working on, and what she wears, and what she says, and she just is the perfect person to work with myself and Matt. Jen, can you tell us just briefly, like, a few of the things many things you're working on? You are so busy. You're so busy.
Well, so nicely. Thank you for the nicest introduction. And I thank you. Like, to get to do this project is amazing. For anyone watching this who's like, she kind of looks familiar, I don't know her, I don't remember when she won. So I won Design Star season 3, which it was like Survivor of Design. 8,000 tried out, 38 made it to casting, 9 made it to the show. Our season, 5 million people voted, and nicely I won, which was awesome. However, life threw me a left hook. I got pregnant. Our son had 20 surgeries, crazy stuff. We ended up losing our house, our car, everything. Hustle. Now, happy ending. Son is now 15. He is doing great.
So great.
Survived because everyone helped us. But what that taught me was I learned the impact of design and your environment on your well-being as we went through all of the journey to come back after a medical catastrophe. I then nicely won a Huffington Post Angie's List contest called the Sleep Sanctuary. It was about designing a bedroom based on Ariana Huffington's book, The Sleep Revolution, and nicely won that. And then now I do a show on Lifetime Channel called Military Makeover, where we do houses for veterans and makeover spaces for them. But like, I think when you asked me to do this project, it's like the Wizard of Oz, where like the world all makes sense at the end of the movie. Because when I was little, my dad was NATO. We lived in Germany for 4 years. I went to school in Holland for a year, and then I taught on a Navy base in Italy and Naples. So like I have always, and I married an Englishman. I have always resonated with Europe and felt home with Europe. It just was something that my sister would say it's because I'm a princess, but that's not it. It's just I love the layered design, the history, the stories told, the artisans in it. I love it. So when you nicely reached out, I was like, yes, please. That's amazing. Now, most people would go, well, have you ever designed out of the country? And I can actually, luckily, fortunately say yes. I did 2 houses in Costa Rica. I'm doing a house in Roatan, which is an island off of Honduras. And then, I'm starting to help with consulting on a house in Ireland. And then besides that, I'm doing hospital projects in Tampa, Chicago, Ronald McDonald houses, a big Flint Hills house. I have a small operations with an assistant and a project manager. I am the sugar mama of my family, but ultimately, I believe design should make you happy. It should make you feel good. It should make your life better. I think no one should judge anyone else's design, even though we all do, because like it's got to be about you. And like as she said, I dress like Elton John. I joke I'm the love child of Paula Deen and Jack Black. My job is to make you laugh and have great design as we go. So I can't wait to share our journey and our story and just thank you. And I just am so excited.
Well, I don't know who's more excited then. So I'm very, very glad. I prepared myself for you to be too busy and to just, and when you said yes, and gosh, I felt like I was proposing. So I'm so glad you said yes. All right, I want to ask you a couple questions, and people are going to get to see a lot of you. We're going to be meeting sort of like weekly, working around both of our schedules, and we'll be sharing much of that. You've been very kind to let me share that. You're not afraid of a camera. And so I just want people to learn a little bit more about you now before we go into more stuff. But okay, so one of the things that I try to do with this is I don't expect everybody who watches the show to go out and buy a palazzo and do what I'm doing. But I think, like you said, you're designing things all over the world. I think design is universal. It makes the person it's for happy. And I'm hoping people can take away some of what we work on and go, oh, I could do that in that bathroom project I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting, like I want them to be
Design
able to
moments. Yep.
find this useful. Why do you think it was a good idea that I reached out to a designer on this project, or that somebody else might want some help, even if it's one room and not a 31 room abandoned palazzo that's falling down?
Well, I always think like people think, oh, designers are just for the elite. And at one point in the history of design, that probably is what it was. However, now it's become a user friendly industry. I mean, you can find designers online who will design remotely. I have one client, I never met him. He lives in New Jersey. I've never been there. We did it all remotely. He was very happy in the end, but I've never met him in person. I think the thing is, it can help you save money and avoid costly mistakes if you bring a designer in at the right time. For example, we know a lot of the things that happen for things to be done the correct way. We
Right.
also know the journey with contractors because we're often working with different groups. I always laugh because when I work with contractors, I'm always prepared for them to tell me no. The good ones are like, I've not done it, but let's figure this out. I always know the how to explain to someone, like, if they say no and I go, "Well, I know enough in a construction background to go, well, what if we do this, this, and this?" And it always catches them off guard because 'cause they're like, that's they're then they know I'm coming from a place of logic and not just like, I'm a designer, want to create beautiful things. Like, yes, I want to create beautiful things, but I care what's happening behind the wall with the
Yeah.
valves and all of that because there's a lot of liability in a home. But if you invest in a designer, it really can help you have a better journey on the remodel process because it, as we all know, it and you hear nightmare stories, it can go poorly quickly.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, and I do want to say one thing about Italy because when you were talking about it, I think the thing I took from Italy when you were talking about design and love and all of that is Italy, when I lived there, was very good about the palazzos being where you built a house as a parent for kids to come back and have a floor. I lived off base and we lived in a palazzo where each floor was made for a different kid, like an apartment. And then
Hmm.
we had a sense of family. On Sundays, you'd go have the pizza oven in the lower.
Mm,
And there's something to be said about that I think Americans could take and start implementing concepts like that of family as, residential living becomes
right.
expensive. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to share
Fantastic.
more.
Fantastic. Okay. My next question is there a favorite room in house that you like to work on the most?
It's funny. I get brought in to do a lot of kitchens because it's the biggest investment for
Right.
everyone. I
Sure.
think it's I like doing kitchens because it sets a tone. You design it and you design it right. It sets a vibe for the whole house. I think one always fun that I love to do are kids' rooms because kids are they know how to color outside of the lines.
Yeah.
They are risk takers. I used to be an art teacher way back when, big surprise, but like adults stop when you reach fifth grade is when you start to think things have to be perfect and you start
Mm,
caring about how your things look to other people. I have a master's in art education, and I always think I'm teaching adults to color outside of the lines because we used to think I just think sometimes we have to unbutton a button and let our
yeah.
hair down and have fun with it, and that should happen in your house too.
I
So
think
so
that's
I
great.
kids' rooms are one of my faves.
That's fantastic. Okay. And then my last question, what are you most excited to work on our house? Is there
Oh,
any specific like
okay,
share your thoughts?
so it's funny because I shared your videos with my dad. My dad
Um,
was director of the Albright Kemper Museum, but he's also a retired colonel in the Air Force. But he was the reason, and my mom too, but why we went to all the castles and chateaus. And I showed him the frescoes on your ceiling, and he was
mhm.
asking me how we're gonna save them. And I was like, I started listening to their videos and like I think they're one of my favorite things because you just don't see that. It's not something you come across in American design a lot. And
Mhm.
if you do, it's like a crazy house in New Jersey. I'm just kidding. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
ultimately, I think I love that. I can't wait to figure out how to help save it. I come from an art background. My mom's a sculptor with the sculpture in the Reagan Presidential Library. So I grew
yeah.
up with
Mhm.
kilns and art and all of that. So to get to save the history as part of your house is great. But then I also love your risk taking and that you're almost like modern eccentric meets old world. And
Yes.
that's going to be fun. That's the fun part.
Excellent. Jen, I'm so excited. We have so much to share. We're going to share next our first meeting after I went to Euro Cucina, which people have been seeing our Design Week posts and stuff. So stay tuned.
I think, Jen, I think the fun part is as your show continues to grow and your viewers become invested in your story, I would love to see how they take things they've listened to from our
Mhm.
adventures and turned them into stuff. So, like, please share if you take something we say and do something in your house. I'd love to see it. And
Yeah.
I think ask any question you want because I'm an open book. I think you're
Yeah,
an open book.
as well, yes. And Jen, if they want to start following you now separate from Our Place in Sicily, how should they? I mean, they should watch your show on Lifetime, but
Um,
just give
Yeah,
us a plug.
Instagram, Jennifer Bertrand Design, Facebook, Jennifer Bertrand. I'm trying TikTok. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm
Excellent.
just gonna be the weird old lady on TikTok who keeps trying, and then in the end, it's gonna be a popular cat video that gets me success.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and that's Jennifer Bertrand as well on TikTok?
Yes, I was kind of just
Fantastic.
plain.
It's perfect. Jen Mason is taken in a lot of places, so I don't get to do that. So from one Jen to another, thank you very much, Jennifer. Everybody, stay tuned. Subscribe if you aren't already subscribed because we got good stuff coming, and I'm so excited to have you on board. And we've been talking for a few weeks, and it's been killing me not to tell everybody. So I'm glad to have you on the project. My house, and I love you. We're glad to have you. Thank you. We'll talk to you next time.